It's Let's Talk Trek.
Tonight is a very special Let's Talk Trek. As you can see, we've removed the dead wood from the show.
Should we tell them what really happened?
Go on, then.
We overspent on our guest budget when we had Chris Allsop in the other week, so we haven't got any budget to pay for James or Richard tonight. To pay for James or Carl tonight, unfortunately. So,
should we tell them what really happened? We had a complaint saying the show had gone too northern. So we removed 25% of the northern contingent, and then the other 25% of the southern contingent got upset, so we had to remove that as well to balance things out and make it fair.
Well, yeah. So it's not our fault that some of our friends just can't hack the banter, is it?
What can you do?
Yeah. So it's a bit of a different show. So there's no cocktail, no collectible, no stamp.
No. Luckily, there's been loads of Trek news for us to talk about.
Wow. There has been a lot of Trek news, and there's been quite a few bits I was excited to get people's views on, but we'll go into that in just a moment. So first of all, if wherever you're watching us in the world, because we know people do watch all around the globe, say hello in the comments, which on my screen is on that side. And we will flash them up on the thing. You should have flashing up powers as well, Richard, so you can tap the text.
Yeah. What ho? Christoph, Megan, Val, all the Rikers Beard are watching. They're lovely chaps. Alan. Oh, Howell. Oh, wow. And Megan is currently tuning in from a train station while she travels back from work. Ghost.
Oh, Megan, do you have us on some sort of speakerphone, or are we in your headphones?
I think we're just in her head.
Do not leave bags unattended.
Oh, speaking of ghosts, have you seen the new feature-length trailer for the new Ghostbusters film that's dropped?
Oh, if we're going to talk non-Trek, yes, I have, and I'm very excited.
I'm so excited. But that's it. We'll just talk about Trek now.
And they are releasing it around Halloween, which is what you should have been doing.
I'm so looking forward to it. All that nonsense they dropped a couple of years ago. Oh, that was terrible.
It was certainly. I mean, I know people are fans of it, and we do like.
Who's fans of it?
There are people who are fans of the later Ghostbuster film.
These are the same people like Harry Potter, presumably.
One of those. So let's talk about things that have gone on this week, because it's been a busy old week for me. Work's been absolutely ridiculous. Now, this is going to tie in actually to what we're going on about. So I work in the hospitality and entertainment industry in one of my jobs. I've got two jobs, one of them to that. And we're seeing quite a rise in people coming out again, which is really good. I mean, it's a really positive thing, and I'm really excited by this. And it sort of ties in indirectly to one of the things I wanted to talk about today in the Trek news. I'm going to skip forward a couple of slides, which is this one, which is news that Star Trek Mission Las Vegas have announced that if you're going to attend Star Trek Mission Las Vegas, you must be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to get into the whole vaccination, not vaccination. That's people's own choice. And, I strongly urge you to do so. But, I respect your choice and your decisions in your life to do what you want. What do you think, Richard, as regards how does the fact that American conventions are taking this stance bode for the British convention scene?
Well, it's a business decision you have to make. And I think if you're going to want people to come to your convention, be that the guests that are going to encourage the public to come, or indeed the public to come, you have to decide, are you going to say, well, we're going to apply these really strict COVID rules, whereby you're probably not going to have a lot of interaction with the guests, or are we going to say, well, you've got to be vaccinated, otherwise our guests aren't going to feel comfortable and there's going to be no interaction. So this is a monetary business decision that you've got to make. And I think the vast majority of the Star Trek celebrities are generally, they're quite clued up. They're not a stupid bunch. And I think they will feel safer and they will feel happier at a convention knowing that everyone has had the vaccine. So that's why they're going down this route.
I mean, it's interesting you're saying that. The guidelines for... cast your mind back 12 months ago is when COVID was obviously first, digging its heels in. we were having the list of who was considered a vulnerable person, and it was people over a certain age range. And then when you start to think about it, a lot of the Star Trek actors would probably fall into that age bracket anyway, So yeah, I wouldn't blame them for wanting to be somewhere that is secure and safe in that way. So
I don't blame. But again, I'm the same as you. I urge everyone to get vaccinated if they're watching it, and if you don't want to get vaccinated, fair enough. But please don't come to the same convention I'm going to.
Or if you do, just don't come and hug me.
And don't take the train or the bus. Yeah.
Essentially, have you seen The Walking Dead? That's how it started. So let's have a look. Someone's first of all popped in. Megan, I applaud you and they can keep guests and celebrity safe. After you can conventions, I can see them requiring COVID event pass, which you can get off your NHS app on your phone. Vaccine passport or a proof of a negative PCR test before the test. Right. So, hi, Christian. How you doing? What I'm going to do is, because some people, my day job is I work in tech. So what I just thought I'd show people is how easy it is to actually get your pass for if you are coming to an event. So what you would need is your lovely app if you're in the UK, which is this one. And it'll load up. You've got to identify yourself. So put your password in. Shh, don't watch.
Like it isn't. 4-digit password. Oh, I wonder what the enterprise registration number is.
Wow. So then it'll bring up there's a box here that says get your COVID NHS pass. So we're going to tap that one. And literally it is as simple as you tap it and it says get your pass, press continue. Where are you going? Domestic. Press continue. There we go. One QR code.
We get a QR code, yeah. I mean, it really is. Don't get me wrong. There's been a lot of bad press in the UK about the NHS COVID app and it working, not working, and the whole pinging people that ill are on. That's completely separate to this. Okay, this is just a straightforward. I can prove I've been vaccinated, so I can come to your event. It's as easy as that. So no matter what you think about the Tory backhanders and the people who've had the app, this is completely separate from that. This is just a sensible way of showing people you've been vaccinated. So, it's common sense.
I mean, it's also the fact that if I can demonstrate that while I'm not watching my phone and turn it to a camera and get it on my phone in less than 20 seconds, there is no real excuse that people shouldn't just be getting the QR code,
Well, Christoph has made a good point in the comments there because he has an EU vaccination pass, which is going. I mean, genuinely, I think that as Trek fans, you're going to be lucky here because it's going to fall under stadium jurisdiction, which for sporting events, mainly football, because it's the one where all the money is, they're probably going to sort this out for that well in advance of any conventions, and that'll be the guidelines they'll stick to. So I wouldn't panic too much about the integration there because it's going to be worth too much money for them not to do it. So I think it'll be okay.
So some of the other comments, let's have a look. Val said she'd be happy to show her vaccine passport, which is fine. That's what we're saying.
And not just that. Apparently, Val's quite happy to show pretty much anything.
The USS Rikers Beer said, can I get my IT department to sort this one out? Apparently, only if you mark it as urgent, and then it will.
And put an exclamation mark at the end.
Yes, then it will get addressed. So yeah, I mean, it's some event somewhere had to take the first step, good on Las Vegas.
I think personally, it's behind making sure, because what's the point? A convention without some celebrities there it's not going to have a draw. So you've got to make the celebrities either feel as safe as possible, or you're only going to get celebrities that are very desperate. So. Yeah, personally, I like both kinds of celebrity.
Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting as well that, I've noticed it in work. I think people have forgotten that this hasn't gone away. And, it's but yeah, I mean, we're not going to hark on too much about COVID as such, but let's have a look. So have a quick look. Have you praised your system admin 2 days ago on Sysadmin Appreciation Day?
So it's a little confession here. I do James's IT, and he praises me every day. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful client such as himself. And by the way, James, I am on holiday now until next Monday.
I love the fact that your out of office is now just a recorded video on Let's Talk Trek. Got some wine. I'm out of the office.
I'm off to Centre Parks tomorrow. Your network's fucked.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's such a. Strangely, when I was starting to look at what we're going to talk about tonight, and I was thinking about how there are quite a few Star Trek storylines about diseases and quarantines and containment of diseases, and my head went to that one. The one where Pulaski gets the hyper aging disease.
That's the first time she appears on screen.
Is that the first? And it's a whole, this station must be under quarantine, and how the measures were. I'm going to have data in a shuttle away, and it's just like, okay, this was all very thought out about how viruses spread in the 80s.
Genuinely, so my little girl who's into her swimming at the moment is really into watching Baywatch, which is a terrible shame because I hate watching it. And they had an episode of Baywatch, which this one would have gone out late 90s, where they pulled a guy out of the water off a refugee boat, very kind of poignant, who was showing really weird symptoms. And the USA Health Authority came in and shut down the whole beach and shut down the lifeguard center, and everyone had to stay overnight in the lifeguard hut, because they're worried about where this guy had come from and what he may have been carrying. This has been around in popular culture for a long time, but never actually been real. So it's kind of almost like we've been prepared for it. We've been prepared for it by watching Star Trek. We've been prepared for it even by watching Baywatch or Outbreak or Contagion, or this is something we've.
Contagion's a brilliant film.
Any film. It's a shame Matt Damon survives. I prefer him to die in films I watch. But
So here we go. Some workplaces have introduced a coloured lanyard system, which I'd like to see at conventions. Green, happy to hug and come and chat. Yellow, okay, talking, but keep distant. And red, I'm keeping distant. This sounds a bit like if it was a student night when we used to do traffic light parties, which is has a green, red, and amber scheme as well, but for completely different reasons.
I misunderstood that when I went to a traffic light party when I was at university.
Okay.
I completely misunderstood the whole thing behind it, and thought I had to drink green drinks all night, and it didn't end well.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's true. So that's Star Trek Las Vegas taking the plunge on the being vaccinated thing, which obviously is a huge thing. So, excited.
SDCC Christoph's put 3 different colours for tested and vaccinated, and a third colour for retest on the site.
San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me. I think I would prefer simply you're allowed in and you're accorded all privileges, or you're not allowed in. I think I don't want to end up talking to someone at the bar and look at their wristband and go, "Whoa, hang on a minute, mate, you've not been double jabbed." And it's. I think it should be a simple. You're in or out.
Right. So let's also look at some other news today. Star Trek Mission Chicago. Now, did you manage to catch this bit of news?
I've not heard this. No, sorry.
Oh, right. Okay. So let me bring this up on my screen. I will read it off the actual page because Star Trek Mission Chicago obviously is coming up on Friday, the 8th of April next year. And Star Trek Mission Chicago. If you want a UK-based representatives and you want to fly us out, we would love to come. Yeah. We'll even go like cheap flights if we have to. Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm 5'7". Every class is first class.
They've started to announce the price for the tickets for it. So let me scroll across this screen because it's on slightly out of thing. It is going to be a one-day general admission ticket is set for $65 or $35 if you're a child. 3-day package is $155, and there's a $750 Priority One Access VIP program with a number of special benefits, which gets you, access to bits and bobs. Hotels are currently available to book, and they are 4 hotels that are official con hotels that the actual events are selling rooms for. And the room rates go from $194 to $209 a night. So it's not completely unreasonable and decent prices.
A dollar's about half a pound, isn't it?
Well, it's about 65p, yeah, give or take. Kate Mulgrew, Michelle Hurd, Will Wheaton, they're currently announced, and they're expected there's going to be a lot more for this. So that's quite an exciting one. It's nice to see that events are coming back. Let's have a look. So we've got Pickers Gill says greetings from Amsterdam. Richard is now. Go on, Richard. Name that guitar.
From Amsterdam, I'd like to greet you in your native tongue and say, "G'day, mate."
That's Australia, buddy. Wrong.
It's Amsterdam.
Okay. The gentleman has got a guitar, so obviously you would love to speak guitars with the gentleman.
He's got a Fender. I'm unfortunately a Gibson snob. But there we are.
Dear. Sorry. We tried. Strange New Worlds. Well, Strange going to talk about Strange New Worlds. That's one of the upcoming slides. So let's talk about the Strange New Worlds. It sort of ties...
Before we do, could we just go back to Pickers Gill's Star Trek? His how do I do this? That's a really nice guitar you have there, chap. And I like your scarf and your beard. And I think, in fact, he is in disguise James Cromwell.
Oh, maybe. Maybe it is the lovely James Cromwell in disguise. Possibly.
I think it is.
James Cromwell, obviously friend of the show. So
yeah. Zephyrin Cochrane, that's him.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to have someone from Amsterdam. This is the first person from Amsterdam, so thank you.
It is, yeah. It's actually what you said about James Cromwell and the guitar. Does James Cromwell play in one of the Star Trek bands?
I don't think so, no. Tell you who's not bad on the axe is Tim Russ. He's pretty good, actually. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good player.
Tuvok, the Vulcan, decent with
Jeff Coombs isn't bad either, actually. But yeah, they're pretty good.
Fair enough. Right, so Strange New Worlds. Yes, let's have a talk about this. I saw an article this week about how Strange New Worlds could be the reboot for the Star Trek sort of franchise, moving it away from big episode pieces like Discovery and coming back into, obviously, episodic things. And I think this could be the way to get back into like a TNG reboot and stuff like that. And then today's news is that Alex Kurtzman, Star Trek sort of... Is he Star Trek God at the moment?
I think he's...
the driving force.
Yeah, but better the devil you know. I mean, that's Alex, him.
It is. He's had a humongous amount of money thrown to him by Paramount CBS to front up Star Trek until 2026. So, and this whole...
all the guy who's... Is he show running Discovery?
He is, amongst other things, yeah. Like this. So, a bit of JJ lens flair.
I'd like to genuinely say thank you for bringing us more Star Trek, sir.
Absolutely. Also,
does that mean he's a friend of the show now?
We could say,
yeah. Until he denies it, I think he's a friend of the show.
Absolutely. Lower Decks, new trailer video for Lower Decks has approached saying how the ship always gets into trouble. We're not allowed to play it because of copyright reasons, but it is available on Twitter. Go and watch it. Here is a screen grab. That is obviously Q.
Really?
Do you not think?
Q's never had stubble.
No, it's got to be Q.
No, I don't think that's Q.
Well, it's not like a giant Tom Paris, is it?
I'm trying to think who's ever had stubble. I don't know.
Christoph Wynn's comment of the week. Fantastic. Kurtzman's new contract has $1 for every time anyone says he's fired. Not just that, he also gets $20 for every time Giant Robot puts an article up that says that Star Trek is now dead.
Oh, that Giant Robot is just honestly, what a load of nonsense.
Well, you know what they say. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So, yeah. So I mean that's exciting and interesting stuff. Which is that. So yeah, it's good to see events are coming back, which I am excited about. I mean, Lower Decks. That's now finished shooting. That was the news this week as well. And they're now just wrapping up the little.
I wonder how they shoot an animated series. I mean, it's
No, not Lower Decks. Sorry, Strange New Worlds.
yes, that's wrapped.
That's wrapped.
I'm really excited for Lower Decks.
For Lower Decks. Or
Strange New Worlds.
Oh, there's so many.
We get confused. Let's move on. Let's move on to some news that we all want to hear about.
Which is?
Oh, hang on. Let me do my bit. Where are we?
It's in the brand section.
Yeah. Hang on. I can't find it.
Okay. Do you want me to press the button?
You do it.
Okay. This is so well rehearsed, you can tell. It's never gets old.
Right, so this is the news that after spending literally years on the internet, I have finally found what we've all been wanting to see, and that is what used to be called Eagle Moss, now called Hero Collector, trailer for our favourite ship, The Pursuit of Perfection. Begins with a dream. Irresistible desire. You demanded. You waited. They delivered. Something to exceed the expectation of millions. You wanted more? Malon Cloak Activate Edition. And more, the Gold Edition. I mean, how do I turn that off?
Oh no! What are you doing? What?
I think it's about time that that we had a proper advert for the mate, because there was never much press given to its release, and it's our favourite ship, and it's about time it had the recognition it deserved.
It is. It's I mean, so many comments on the Malon freighter ship. The gold edition looks like it's made of Ferrero Rocher.
Yes, styled on it almost. Yep.
Maybe it could be a Ferrero Rocher holder. You know, maybe it could like have a hinge on it and open up, and you could put your Ferrero Rocher inside and keep them safe.
Maybe it could be a Malon freighter made out of Ferrero Rocher. It could be a Christmas gift to your track. Maybe we should do a Blue Peter style build tutorial.
Maybe we should plan this, but for a couple of weeks when you come up, you know, we could do all of the prep work on it and get it ready.
Yeah, we could do it. How to make a Christmas gift for your Trek loved one out of Ferrero Rocher.
Amazing. Yeah, I can see this.
Who doesn't want a Malon freighter?
Wow. So there we go. And nothing is safe inside a mail on freighter. That's not. Oh, wow. I feel bad for Carl and James that they missed such an amazing advert. We'll have to run this again next week.
Well, I'll run. It took me a long time to track that advert down, so I'll probably post it to the Trekkie's Guide and to the Riker's Beard Facebook streams, so people can enjoy it more.
Absolutely.
Time and time again. Yeah.
What's not to love? So yeah, I mean, it's. So I can hear noise outside the door. Sorry. Alan Windows put up a Facebook eBay link that we'll have a look at shortly. I'm sure it's.
We're expecting now demand for mail on freighters to basically go through the roof. So if you've got a mail on freighter, now's the time.
I wonder if Hero Collector will give us. Well, in fairness, Hero Collector are really good at sending me freebies anyway. I mean, Hero Collector send all these books. So
did they send you a mail on freighter?
No, but I'm going to have a quick chat with them and say, hey guys,
where's my cloaked mail on freight?
Well, we are going to be reviewing soon the Hero Collector Star Trek Advent Calendar. So that is going to be getting reviewed by us soon. And we're looking forward to that one. Ah, hold on. Picker's Gill is Christoph. Oh, no, it isn't. Hi, Christoph. Greetings. Okay. No, I thought I said Christoph was Picker's Gill. I was like, what? Hiding himself. So, yes. Yes, you're away on holiday next week, aren't you, Sir Richard?
Yes, I'm away on holiday next week, so nothing will change for anyone watching this show.
And are you taking any Star Trek to watch while on holiday, or Star Trek books or audio casts? What are you?
Well, and to be completely honest with you, my family does not share my love of Star Trek. Mrs. Richard does enjoy a bit of Star Trek Voyager, but I've yet to get the kids into it, so there won't be a lot of Trek going along there. I did get Janeway's autobiography to listen to while I was away, but I was too keen to listen to it, and I've already listened to it, so that's kind of done.
Well, I've just got up to the bit with the tennis tournament.
It's genuinely, I thought I would find that first half of the book the most tedious, and I didn't. I actually really enjoyed it all. And I listened to it. I listened to it as an audio book. I didn't read it, and it's narrated by Kate Mulgrew, and I think she genuinely puts some passion into reading it, and I think that helps deliver it. Otherwise, the first half of the book probably would be a bit tedious. But you can tell she's put some passion into it, and I'm thoroughly... Well, I could highly recommend it to anyone that's a fan of Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, it is good. And if you sign up to Audible, you get a 3 months trial, and you get 2 free audiobooks. So you can download that as a free one. And then you can download something by our favourite paranormal writer, Richard Easter. Because that way, he gets a cut of the Amazon royalties, because that's good. And you will enjoy his work as well.
But I have to say, back on the Star Trek, I mean, I've listened to quite a few Star Trek audiobooks. I have to admit, I've never been much of a fan of too many of them. But this particular one that I thought I was going to enjoy the least was a complete shot out of the blue. Janeway's autobiography, worth a listen. Please do.
Right, Megan asks, now that it's 3 months until Destination Star Trek, UK, what's the one tip you'd give people to help them get through the weekend?
So you need to bring a Hawaiian shirt, because Let's Talk Trek are having a Hawaiian shirt meetup on a yet-to-be-disclosed date. But as long as you've got the Hawaiian shirt packed, you won't feel, out of place or a bit stupid.
As regards other actual practical tips, if you've not done a convention before, firstly, where have you been? Secondly, you take cash. Although I imagine, actually, I don't know if that's.
I don't think so. Yeah, tap and pay. There's not. I think that my biggest tip for people if they're going to a convention would be just pack as light as you can. You don't want to be cluttering up your room with stuff that's unnecessary. If you're into the costume and you're doing the costume groups, then that's not an option. But you really want to make sure that you've got it down to the bare essentials, and not be and it's not because when you're there, it's because it's the pre-build-up panicking. What should I take? What shouldn't I take? Should I take these trousers? If you're just going for a light pack, apart from your costumes, then you won't stress about it so much. When you're there, concentrate on just enjoying yourself and don't worry about what you look like. I mean, do worry about what you smell like. Take soap. But,
I mean, it's interesting that you said that because, firstly, if you are into costume side, there is a great Facebook group called Star Trek Costume Group, which is run by one of our friends, Liam. And they're up to, it's nearly 4,000 members now. It just keeps growing and it gets bigger and bigger. And we're going to have Liam on soon. We keep sort of saying we'll get him on.
And the last two cons we're at, they ran a costume group kind of pit stop in the hall. So if you needed a bit of gaffer tape or a staple gun or whatever to tighten your costume up with and running repairs, they were there to help, which was fantastic of them.
Absolutely. And the other one, like Richard just said, I think it's very easy sometimes if you're doing like, I'm trying to think of a way to put this. It sounds not horrendous. Star Trek fans who dress up generally fall into two categories. One that don't care, and the others which are quite socially anxious at the best of times. And I think it's easy to build into your head the worry of what am I going to look like? What are people going to think? Oh, it's not screen accurate. Oh, it's not this. And
well, yeah, I know what you're trying to say, Dan, and I'll just wade in with an example.
Don't stress,
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in the evening at the bar, and I've got a guy with a Ruby's Star Trek costume on one side and an Ovos costume, I don't care which of them buys me a drink. It really is. It honestly, it really does come down to that.
Absolutely.
You don't. If you find anyone at a convention going, "Oh, I'm not talking to you because you're wearing a Ruby's costume," please come and report them to me, and I'll put them in the Richard lock and escort them out the building because they don't belong there. Okay, it's great to appreciate someone's wonderful costume, but it doesn't matter whether it's shop bought, doesn't matter if it's expensive, doesn't matter if it's cheap, doesn't matter if you made it yourself. Everyone's there for the same reason. So if you're worried about your costume not looking as good as someone else's, don't, because generally people, that's not what people like at Star Trek conventions.
Our second hint would be if you need to smuggle stuff into the convention, speak to Alan when he's got his big Mr. Hom suitcase because he can bring it in for you.
Yes, he smuggled me into a convention once that way.
Right, so let's have a look what else we've got. Lots of things. One of our members who obviously is on this chat and isn't just watching our show, it may as well just be on here. He might be commenting. Not pointing, I think he's just. Planned rest breaks. Walking around all day is exhausting. Absolutely. I mean, we're quite fortunate. We do stuff at events these days, and we're very fortunate that we have a place where we can squirrel behind. And I think it's hard. It's easy for us to actually. It's hard for us sometimes. We don't remember what it was like the first couple of years when it was just walking around, nowhere to sit down and stuff. It is. It can be a tiring day.
It sounds like a silly one to say, but stay hydrated.
And sensible shoes. It's all well and good. If you're going to wear boots for your uniform, fantastic. But you know what? You don't want to be traipsing to and from a car park or a hotel in your boots. So in your backpack, throw a set of small, comfortable trainers or something. Because
if you're wearing a nice TNG costume, okay, and you've got the shoes that match it, but they're kidding you, take them off. Seriously, when people take pictures and stuff, they don't include the shoes. And if you want to wear them, great, but honestly, don't wear them all day, Where I mean, something for ladies tend to have a purse or whatever, but for guys at a convention, one of those mono-strap small sling bags, fantastic. A really lightweight thing you can bung some stuff in, especially if you don't have loads of stuff in your pockets. Yeah. So if you are wearing a costume, anything Star Trek tends to be figure hugging, and it looks a bit odd in the photos if you've got awkward bulges. So take yourself a sling sack, something you can just put your phone, your wallet, and your keys and your bits and pieces in, so that you can just chuck it in the sack and put it to one side while your picture's taken is a really good tip.
The second tip I'd actually probably give out, and we'll give a couple of security tips out. Well, you don't normally do these. We're not assuming that everyone who's a Star Trek fan and on our page is an idiot, but me and Richard were joking.
People like me, yeah.
Yeah. Do not put the PIN code to your bank card as 1701.
Actually, I've got to. Yeah, the first Star Trek convention I went to is before I met any of you guys, and I went to Destination Star Trek London, the first one, just for the day. And I was in a queue for something, and the text message alert of a communicator being opened went off, and literally everyone in the fucking queue got their phone out to check. So yeah, don't do it as 1701.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those. It's just in a big place like that. For every nice person there is, you don't want to lose your bank card or anything, and then find out that you've lost all your convention money because you had a blatantly easy PIN. So
there'll be people. There's always people there that are looking to take advantage.
Yeah,
the
RFID blocking wallet that I use at the moment is so that no one can walk past and ping my card, for instance.
The massage ladies that wear the blue uniforms as well. They'll do a shoulder and back massage, and you can pay them whatever you want. But they ask for £20, but you can give them £5 and they can't complain. But you pay them that afterwards.
Let's have a look. Other things. Oh, Gemma Bostock says what? Yeah, there is back massage people at the convention. That's normal. If you get photos with the stars, hide your ticket lanyard. Yes, very good. That's always a good one to do. Always carry water and something to eat on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although
always carry some water. Definitely staying hydrated stops you from being. It's a weird thing because it doesn't affect you until about 40 minutes afterwards. But genuinely, it's a long old day. If you stay hydrated, you won't feel as tired. So yeah, water is like a big one.
Oh, actually, Gemma just mentioned that. Loving Star Trek Continue on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I like Star Trek Continue. Have you watched that? I mean, now we're directing off conventions very briefly.
No, I've heard of it. I think I've seen a couple of adverts for it, but it's not gripped me.
It's worth give it a. I wouldn't say give it a watch. Put it on at some point in the office. Just make sure it's worth it for that extra how the story should have probably finished. And it's very well done.
I've heard it's very well done, very accurate.
Yeah, very, very accurate. And it's one of the things I'd like to go and see stateside too. So, but yeah, I mean, advice, like we say. I mean, some of the basic ones have gone through there. This year, I think with COVID rules and things, with the fact that you might have to show your passport on your phone, which we did boot off the show with the fact that tickets and things may all be virtual this year on a device, rather than just cutting down on people touching stuff.
Cash, you said earlier, cash is a big thing. It used to be take loads of cash. Yeah. I mean, we don't know, but I'm suspecting. No, they'll all have tap and pin machines at their things. I'm suspecting now. Yeah.
So whatever your device is, make sure you take a power bank. A good quality power bank and a cable to charge the power bank with, and the cable to your phone.
Well, I'd make a bigger suggestion here. Instead of a power bank, you can get cases with power banks built in now for your phones, and they're really good. I've recently doled out my old, very battery dead iPhones to my kids, and I've basically brought them up to spec by getting battery cases to put them in. So it's a case protector and a battery built in one, and they're fantastic.
By the way, several podcasters and YouTubers and blogs have episodes, videos, and articles for first-time attendees. We have done one in the past.
Not as good as ours, yeah.
And we intend to do another one before the next event. Other advice we'd give you, maybe during it with us on the Thursday, because we're getting there on a Thursday. I'm going to go and see the Science Museum. And
if there's one bit of advice generally I'd give, it's like don't be scared to talk to people.
Yeah.
Because as Dan was trying to diplomatically say earlier, that I won't diplomatically say, a lot of people that go to Star Trek conventions and that are in Star Trek have a lot of social interaction issues. They don't integrate well, and they find it awkward talking to people. That's why they're drawn to Star Trek, because it's for the most part a welcoming and loving community. You're going to be hard pushed to find an arsehole that's going to ridicule you at a Star Trek convention. So make an effort to come out of your shell a bit and talk to someone. and they'll talk to you back, and you'll make a friend, and it'll be wonderful. That's
I
my
mean,
biggest bit of advice.
and it sounds stupid. Like most of my friends that aren't people I'm involved with work-wise, or people locally, like my actual friends that I speak to every day, are people I've met through Star Trek conventions.
Mm.
And when I look through, I sort of laughed the other day. We were talking in work about how people's friendship groups, like so in leisure, which I work in, a lot of people's friendship groups are just people who work in leisure. People in the same industry. And I was like, well, my friendship groups include physicists, lawyers, doctors. And like, how do you get into so many friendship groups? It's like, no, it's actually one really big friendship circle with a really, if one of those Venn diagrams, like, this is where the middle of it is. It's all Star Trek in the middle. Yeah. And it's all people I've met at conventions and stuff like that. So, yeah, absolutely. Go and enjoy your convention scene.
But do make an effort just to, even if you do feel a bit nervous and awkward, you know what? Tell the person, like, if you see someone wearing a really nice costume, say to them, I'm already a bit nervous about talking to people, but you've got a really nice costume. I just wanted to tell you. Do you know what? That person wearing that costume, you'll make their day. You
Absolutely.
really will. So just do it. Just make the effort.
Never be scared to grab someone and say, do you mind? Don't just do it, but say, do you mind if I have a photo?
Yeah.
Because that's a great way. If somebody has spent a year working on a cosplay,
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
it's nice to have a photo.
And also, if you want to talk to them about it, why did you decide to do it? How did you get it made? Where did you get it from? You're at the conventions to meet people and talk to people. Don't be scared to do it.
Absolutely that. Convention scene is a great scene. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how it is this year. I'm quietly optimistic it's going to be good fun this year. So, yeah.
If it goes ahead, I think it's going to be.
It will.
I think it's going to be one of the most. I know a lot of people in our Star Trek friends groups are concerned it's going to be a bit of a washout because not many celebrities are going to be there and the rest of it. I think this is going to be possibly the most fan orientated one we've ever had because of everything that's gone on, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean that's sort of us done for Nashrin today, and we've filled in our time quota. We haven't really done many of our normal articles, and it's just been us sort of having an answer, which is a bit different. I mean, Christoph has quite properly put that there are many great, blogs and things which will give you advice, and I'm sure you can find some. There'll be quite a few of the usual suspects posting stuff before events, and as he's put there, let me click it on the screen. Conventions, as you know, is where I met the Trekkie Girls, the Engage podcast, Larry Nowiczek, and at least some of our hosts. That's us, guys. And you know what? They're all lovely people. Larry Nowiczek's a great guy. Trekkie Girls, we love them. Some great people.
You'll be very hard pushed to find someone who is actually going to be a bit of an arsehole at a Star Trek convention. Not saying they don't exist, but you're going to be hard pushed. You want to talk to a random person and say, hey, wow, I love your Star Trek Uhura purse. They'll just feel so good that you've made the effort to say that to them. So,
actually, if I was going to give one piece of advice, I'm going to give one piece of advice. If you've not been to the London XL before, it is bigger than you think. No matter how big you think it is in your head, the place is bigger than that. And it is the world's longest corridor up the middle of it. So you better like walking because all the cash points are at one end. But that's the only real bit of advice I'd probably give you. The XL is massive. And if you are driving down or using your own form of transport, then pre-book your parking. It's a lot cheaper if you're then paying on the day.
I think James and I are going to attempt to go via public transport this year, which should be interesting.
Golly. Are we doing planes, trains, and automobiles?
I don't have a good track record with public transport. And sadly, whenever James attempts to get it with me, he suffers from my curse. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, I remember the last time. We won't say what happened last time, but I remember last time you was on a train with them.
Every time I try and use public transport, it just goes wrong.
No marbles this week, says the Rikers Beard. No. And Mark says sound advice. So, yeah, that's it for today. I mean, we've done Nashrin. Thank you for watching along. I'm still mind blown that people tune in to watch us chat on a Sunday. It completely baffles me, but you keep watching, we'll keep showing up. That's how.
I'd just like to ask before we go. Gemma Bostock said, "What?" exclamation mark. I'm still trying to figure out what that was in relation to. So if you're still watching, Gemma, what?
What? Ooh. What type of tone are we using with the word what? What? So soon it's going to be, in a couple of weeks, it's the Let's Talk Trek official, what's the word? Not coupling. Meetup. That's the one.
Yes, we're getting together.
Massaging, says Jan.
Oh, the massaging. Yes, they charge. So the massage girls charged. Don't get me wrong. Both times I've had one, the lady I've had has been really good, and I've given her the 20 quid she's asked for. But people next to me have gone, actually, that was a bit naff. I'm only going to give you a fiver. And they've got really quite shirty with them about only giving them a fiver. It's like, well, you said it's what you want. So there we are.
So there we go. Christoph says that XL has 2 DLR stations, Docklands Light Railway, difficult to miss, and there'll be Crossrail and Elizabeth Line stations.
See, that's literally like that's another language to me, because I don't understand how public transport works. So it's a DLR station.
It's a small railway.
I just don't get it at all.
So when the boys come up and we're having our Let's Talk Trek live, we're hoping to be able to live stream some of it throughout the course of a couple of days. So you might catch us on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Axe throwing, yes.
Yeah, we're going Viking axe throwing, which is different. And I believe that there is a secret surprise which James and Richard don't know about, which will be interesting to see their...
what's her name?
see their response. Sorry, Mrs. Richard, if you're watching. So special, super secret stuff. James assures us that he can explain how
I don't want to know. Can just point me in the right direction and tell me what to get on and when to get off, because I don't want to know more than that.
Yes. Right, so that's it for this week. Thank you very much. We're going to catch you next week. Until then, au revoir.
Look after yourselves.
Be safe.
And each other.
Yeah. Well, that was a good show. I enjoyed that.
We're still going.
Are we? No, we're not.
We're still alive.
No, we're not.
Oh, we are.
No, we're not. This is what